but our top-shelf party loyalist will at least give it a go.
这个情况我不太清楚，跟着你吗？
对，是的。
我们就是我的领导。
比如他们在那边，他们来你知道，政府的人。
那这是
不，
客人吧？可能是。
他们不是客人。没问题。
We also ask for help to line up an interview with an imam, and to our great surprise, one is organised.
不是，麦老师你别走。
The guests from our hotel follow us there in convoy as well. We meet Imam Ahmed Rozi, and he welcomes us into his 90-year-old mosque. In Xinjiang, the government keeps a close eye on religious institutions and can veto appointments. In this province, veils for women and beards for men are actively discouraged by the authorities. We ask if people are free to practice their religion. We also ask why so much killing has occurred recently, especially Uyghurs killing Han Chinese. Could it be because some Uyghurs are not satisfied with their lives? A team of government officials records every word the imam says. His can be a dangerous job. An imam will get into big trouble if he questions the Communist Party's handling of things. But being too close to the authorities can also be deadly. In July this year, in another city, an imam seen as too pro-government was stabbed to death in a political assassination. We ask why this might have happened.
Bizning aqidamizda, islom aqidamizda shunday qildi. Taqdir bor emasmi? Keyingi taqdirining bo'ladigan yo bo'lmaydiganligini bizning e'tiqodimizda Alloh o'zi biladi. Shunga jazman qat'iy bo'lmaydi debmi hukm qila olmayman. Shundaqla bo'ladi debmi jazman hukm qila olmayman.
This imam certainly has a difficult path to navigate. We've found a new driver, and on the way to the regional capital, we pass some of the historical and economic reasons for wanting to hang on to this territory. On Xinjiang's highways, cars are now being stopped for full airport-style bag scans. The government's message: you think you can pressure us? Try this for pressure. Who are you? Where are you going? How do you know each other? Soon we're in Urumqi, a prosperous city with Uyghurs in the minority and very Chinese characteristics. Most people you talk to seem to like living here, but a few months ago, the calm was smashed to pieces. You can't really tell now, but this street was once the site of a morning market. All the way along here there were stalls selling food, and the locals would come out to buy their breakfast. In May this year, that's exactly what they were doing when a couple of cars pulled up. It's not quite clear what happened next, but those inside have either thrown explosive devices out of the vehicles or set off bombs inside the cars. 39 passers-by were killed, 4 of the bombers died as well, though one was captured. It was a bloody attack which sent shockwaves through this community.
他们是暴徒，他们丧失人性，他们已经被那个宗教极端思想洗脑了，没有自己的思维，他受到宗教极端思想的蛊惑，做出来这样反人类的事情。 一个正常的人是不会对老人孩子就举起屠刀的。
Uyghur policeman Ainading Mehmetamin took the dead and wounded from the bombed marketplace to hospital. In a largely Han Chinese area, most of those killed were elderly people.
我流泪了，我痛恨，我不能理解怎么有人能做出这样的事情，怎么能做得出来？他能叫做人吗？
Many Han Chinese whose parents and grandparents were from Urumqi seem genuinely bewildered that social harmony is cracking apart here. The government's solution is integration. In one town, Uyghurs and Han Chinese are being offered generous cash handouts if they intermarry. Teaching in the Uyghur language is disappearing in schools everywhere, and it's almost non-existent at universities. But to really test the pulse of Xinjiang, you have to head to the south, across the Taklamakan Desert. In places like Hotan, Uyghurs are still in the majority. Here, many unsophisticated but brutal attacks have meant a heavier security presence than in the north. In the south, the internet is at times totally blocked and phone texting prevented. Here we briefly shake our considerable escort and get our only opportunity to speak to a group of Uyghurs without a dozen police and other officials intimidating them. They're farmers seeking work in construction or as seasonal fruit pickers.
Gayet turmuş cihetini azraymiz. Bu yerda tolisi to'y qilmagan bolalar bor. To'y qilish jihatdan azroq ta'sir bo'ldi. Shunga qarata azraydigan ishlar bor. Boshqa ishdan azrash yo'q bo'lmasa.
And what do they think is causing the tension here?
So even here, when we're in a crowd and once we ask people about the violence, what's caused it, a crowd who doesn't want to talk about it. They're happy to talk about their lives, but they feel obviously it's a bit too dangerous to speak about these things, even if they're not involved. Even just to give an opinion is something that could really get you into trouble.
As for possible solutions,
Bizde uqmaymiz edi. Onu biz desak bo'lmaydi. Ham uni bizlarga uqtirish mumkin emas. Onu biz ham banda qasab tinchlik
asosiyat masalasi 15 xil nima bo'lsa millat bo'lsa hammani bak nima ta'sir qilgan millat Uyg'ur millat bizlar shu. Bizga de ta'sir qilgan millat hech yo'q.
the reason we've been hindered is to prevent comments just like these getting out.
Hozir Uyg'ur millatiga sal besim bor. O gapni bu yerda desak, chunkilik topdan bo'lmaydi. Qoraqalpoqni ko'gizib qo'ydi odamga.
Hozir ma'lum hamma barabar u bu degan bilan biz bilan yolg'on gapdan. Naqshliqni aytmak jiqansiz bo'ldi so'zlab kelsak.
And when might the violence end?
Onu Allah o'zi bilmasa banda bilib bo'lmaydi. Vaziyatga boqadan ishlar. O gap to'g'ri gap asab bo'lmaydi.
Asosiyat erkinlik yo'q hamda. Sizlar tushunasiz.
We decide to visit a village in which nearly 100 people were killed this July. Other foreign journalists have not been allowed into Ali Shihu. We're driving now to the town which has seen the largest recent violent incident, and the numbers are quite staggering. According to official reports, amongst the passers-by, 2 Uyghurs were killed and 35 Han Chinese killed. Amongst the attackers, 59 were shot dead by police and another 215 captured by the local authorities. Now, this has been labelled like other incidents as a terrorist attack, but with numbers like this, it doesn't seem like what you would call by any definition a terrorist type attack. It sounds like some sort of a grievance that's gotten out of hand, and a mob has just
attacked the local police station and the local government offices.
We drive into the small village well off the main road. Most of the killing was around this government building. We're prepared to hear anything that officials have to say about what happened. We turn to make another pass and our car is pulled over.
Well, here we are. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to go right down into this town, but it's interesting, it's not a very big place. What prompts 270 people to... 我们不是采访，我是说有，当然有。
哦，对，你记者
那这样
证给我检查一下，好不好？
我想知道
你的记者证麻烦给我
为什么需要这个？
咱们看一下你是不是记者。
啊，
好不好？
我是记者。
我可以检查一下
OK， 等一下。对，说你好。这样，那我们想知道7月的时候在这里发生了什么？
这样子，你把你的采访证拿来，好不好？
那我没有采访证。
没有采访证的话，你就是非法采访呀。
Without the mysterious interviewing permit we supposedly require, we must leave none the wiser about these events. We make our way along one last long stretch of road, heading for our final destination. Then on day 10, we reach Kashgar, the city seen by many as the cultural home of the Uyghurs. Centuries ago, travellers who made it across the desert would have eyed this place with relief. Upon making it all the way to these crumbling alleyways, we must ask ourselves what we've garnered from the trip. Well, in short, it's a complex and possibly deteriorating situation with many answers yet to come.
Much of the discussion about the violent clashes in Xinjiang has revolved around the question of whether or not they've been caused by international jihadist groups encouraging this behaviour or local disaffection following government policy on, say, beards or veils. But there's another theory being put about by some academics that this is really the inevitable result of what you might call a colonial type policy, where one culture subjugates another and dominates it, that this causes general unhappiness in the community and it doesn't take much for it to rise to the top.
Over the past year, Uyghurs said to be involved in attacks or planning attacks have been rounded up by the dozen for execution. But the crackdown has also taken in moderate critics. Beijing-based Uyghur economist Ilham Tohti was given life imprisonment last week after he simply criticised government policies in Xinjiang. If even reasoned analysis is not allowed, some China watchers are warning that Beijing could be pushing the Uyghurs straight into the hands of religious extremists. Travelling to this historic city, it's fair to say that we've been harassed unrelentingly all the way. But at the end of our journey, we can put Xinjiang behind us. Yet for people who live here, this is their daily life experience. And there's no indication that that's about to change in a hurry.